Hi friends, in this part we are going to look into polarization. Polarization is a property which is applicable only in transverse waves, where transverse waves are waves with the displacement or the direction of oscillation is perpendicular to the propagation. Example, waves which are traveling on a taut string. And the other type of waves are longitudinal waves like sound waves, where displacement of particles or oscillations is along the direction of propagation of the wave. So this polarization is applicable to transverse waves only. Now one thing you have to remember is when we say the direction of polarization, we consider the direction of polarization as the direction of the electric field. So in unpolarized light, the electric field has infinite direction in the plane which is perpendicular to the wave propagation, example sun rays. And in plane polarized or linearly polarized wave, the electric field oscillates only in one fixed direction. It could be this, this or any other direction. And then combination of many plane polarized light will lead to an unpolarized light. Also, if this electric field vector or electric field rotates with time, as it travels, it rotates with time, then we'll get either circularly polarized or elliptically polarized light. So we have seen unpolarized light, plane polarized or linearly polarized, and circularly polarized or elliptically polarized. That will occur when plane polarized, the electric wave or electric vector will rotate with time. So in circularly polarized, we are having both right circularly polarized and left circularly polarized. And in elliptical also we have right elliptically polarized and we have left elliptically polarized. So usually the convention is like this: if it rotates in the clockwise sense, if the electric field vector rotates in the clockwise sense, then we have a right circularly polarized. If it rotates in the anti-clockwise sense, then we have the left circularly polarized. Similarly, right elliptically polarized, it will be when it will rotate in the clockwise sense. So it is going like this. This will be right elliptically polarized, and left elliptically polarized will be when it is rotating in the anti-clockwise sense, like this. Some examples I can give of plane polarized wave or plane polarized light are, for the electric field can be written like this. For example, E1 bar is equal to E naught e raised to I kz minus omega t. Let's call this x hat. Another example can be E naught e raised to I kz minus omega t y hat. This is also plane polarized. Another example will be 2 E naught e raised to I kz minus omega t x hat. This is also plane polarized, but the amplitude here is 2 E naught. Now for a wave to interfere or for interference to happen, so for two waves to interfere or for waves to interfere, the superimposing waves should have the same direction of polarization. That direction of polarization means they should have the same direction of electric field, that is E1 and E3. They can produce interference. Now let's say we have superposition of two plane polarized waves. Let's say we have superposition of two plane polarized waves. E1 we wrote E naught x hat e raised to I kz minus omega t. E2 was also E naught but y hat e raised to I kz minus omega t, and E3 was 2 E naught z hat e raised to I kz minus omega t. Now let's say we have superposition of two plane polarized waves, any two of these. We can have two types of conditions. One condition can arise is that the two of them are parallelly polarized, that is polarized in the same direction or parallel to each other. The other condition could be that they are perpendicularly polarized. Parallelly polarized, for example, E1 and this is X hat, sorry. E1 and E3, and perpendicularly polarized can be E1 and E2 or E2 and E3. So in this case we will have, the intensity of the final wave will be I1 plus I2 plus 2 root of I1 I2 cos delta phi, where this delta phi is the phase difference between the two waves. Now if they are perpendicularly polarized, then we can have delta phi, three conditions of delta phi can arise. Delta phi, that is the phase difference, can be either 0, pi, 2 pi, something like this, or it can be, delta phi can be pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2 and so on, or delta phi can be some value other than these two, not 0, not pi by 2, not pi, not 3 pi by 2, not 2 pi, other than these values if it is certain values. Then if delta phi is this, then the final wave that we get will be plane polarized. If delta phi is 90 degrees or 3 pi by 2 and so on, then there are two conditions. One is that the amplitude of the two waves, if they are same, that is if E01 is E equal to E02, then we get a circularly polarized, and if E01 is not equal to E02, then we will get elliptically polarized. In this case also the final wave will be elliptically polarized. And this is the general form of intensity, where I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root of I1 I2 cos delta phi. So now let's look at some examples. Here look at the x and y components of the electric field. We are having four different components, x and y components, and we'll see what type of polarization they give rise to, whether they will be linearly polarized or circularly polarized, unpolarized or elliptically polarized. Okay, so first one, Ex is equal to E0 by root 2 cos omega t plus kz, and Ey is equal to E0 sine omega t plus kz. So first thing that we can notice here is that the phase difference between these Ex and Ey, because this is cos term, this is sine term, the phase difference between them is pi by 2. So if it is pi by 2, then we have two conditions. If the amplitudes are same, then it is circularly polarized, and if the amplitudes are different, then it is elliptically polarized. Here one amplitude is E0 by root 2, the other amplitude is E0. The amplitudes are different, therefore this wave is elliptically polarized. Stop the video and find whether what these will be, this and this one. Okay, so this, in the second case, this is again sine, this is cos, again the phase difference will be pi by 2. Now again, if the amplitudes are same, then it will be circularly polarized. If the amplitudes are different, then it will be elliptically polarized. Here the amplitudes are same, so this wave is circularly polarized. This one, this is sine and sine, that is the phase difference between them is 0. So delta phi is 0, and we have already seen when delta phi is 0, this wave is going to be plane polarized or linearly polarized. The last one, the phase difference between them is pi by 4, and we saw when the phase difference is any value other than 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi and so on, then this wave is going to be elliptically polarized. It was easy, you just have to remember that table, and once you understand it, you don't even have to mug it up, just understand it and then you can go on. Now, this is a question I have given to you, that the electric field of some electromagnetic wave is E bar zt is equal to E0 cos kz plus omega t I hat plus 2 I0 sine kz plus omega t j hat, where omega and k are some positive constants. Now you tell me what kind of polarized wave this represents. Pause the video, think about it. So here first thing we can see is that this is I hat, this is j hat, they both are perpendicular to each other. Second thing, this is cos term, that is sine term, means what? There is a phase difference of pi by 2. The third thing that we can see is that the amplitudes are different. This is E naught and this is 2 E naught, right? These both are not equal. So what we can see, when the phase these are perpendicular to each other, when the phase difference is pi by 2, if the amplitudes are same, it will be circularly polarized, and when the amplitudes are different, then it will be elliptically polarized. Here the amplitudes are different, therefore this is elliptically polarized. Second thing, what is the direction of the propagation of this wave? That we have already seen before. I am pretty sure you can, that is kz plus omega t equated to 0. What you will get? Kz is equal to minus omega t. So this is minus, we will have k bar is equal to what? Minus k z hat, some k z hat. So you see it is propagating in the negative z direction. So one trick you can see is that if both of these values are positive, if it is plus kz and plus omega t, then it is propagating in the negative direction, and if it is one is plus the other is minus, then it is propagating in the positive z direction. It will be like that. Okay, now let's come back to our theory part. So now we are going to look at some of the ways which we can use to produce polarized light. It could be plane polarized, circularly polarized, like that. One of the method is by reflection. Consider, let this be air and let this be glass. Consider some unpolarized light that is falling on this. Unpolarized means both will be there. The dot which I represent is the electric field which is going in and out of the plane, the electric field vector, and this is that electric field vector which is going perpendicular to the direction of propagation, like this. That is also perpendicular, this is also perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Let's assume that for now, just for understanding. Let's say some unpolarized light falls on this surface between the interface between the air and the glass. Then it will be reflected partially, and partially it will also go inside the material, that it will be transmitted. Some of it will be reflected, some of it will be transmitted. Now if this is unpolarized, then what we will see is this reflected ray will be plane polarized perpendicular to the plane of incidence, or plane polarized parallel to this boundary surface. That means like this. And this transmitted wave will be partially plane polarized, that is, it will contain both of the, it will be partially plane polarized. But when will this occur? This will occur when the angle between the reflected and the transmitted ray is 90 degrees. Now let's call this the incident angle, or the angle of incidence. This is the reflected angle, this is the transmitted angle, and this is the normal. Okay, so from this we can see that the reflected angle plus 90 degree plus this transmitted angle, this entire thing will be 180 degree. So reflected plus transmitted will be 180 minus 90. And we know that the reflected angle is equal to the angle of incidence, right? So this will be angle of incidence, call this II, this II, okay, plus IT will be equal to 90 degrees. Now this angle of incidence is nothing but this is one condition, that is the reflected. So we have this condition, reflected plus transmitted, that angle will also be equal to 90 degree. And in this case, or when this different angle between the two waves is 90 degrees, that angle of incidence is called as the Brewster's angle. call it IB, also called as the polarizing angle, and that will be given by tan IB will be equal to N2 upon N1. N2 is the refractive index of the glass, this one, and N1 is the refractive index of the air. In this case, N2 upon N1. This is the Brewster's angle. So did you understand this? What I was trying to say is, let's say we have some higher refractive index material and a lower refractive index material. Unpolarized light is incident from the lower refractive index material, on the interface between the two. Then some of it will be reflected and obviously some of the wave will be transmitted. If the angle between the reflected wave and the transmitted wave is 90 degrees, then the reflected wave will be completely plane polarized. I'll explain the direction of the plane polarization. And the transmitted wave will be partially plane polarized. That means we will have this angle plus this 90 plus this will form total 180 degrees. So we'll have this condition, that is reflected plus transmitted equals to 90 degree. And in this case, that angle of incidence is known as the Brewster's angle. So if you apply Snell's law and everything, you'll get tan IB is equal to N2 upon N1. So the boundary plane is this plane and the plane of incidence is this one. Plane of incidence is the one which contains the incident, the reflected and the normal. So that is the plane of incidence, and the boundary plane is this plane. So this light, reflected light, will be plane polarized, either parallel to the boundary surface, that means it will be like this coming in and out the electric fields, or it will be either perpendicular to the boundary plane of incidence, that will also be like this. So it will be reflected ray will be polarized in direction parallel to the boundary plane, or you can also call it as perpendicular to the plane of incidence. I will write it down. The reflected ray will be polarized parallel to the boundary plane, or you can also call this perpendicular to the plane of incidence. So this is one way of getting plane polarized light. The other way of getting plane polarized light is by transmission. What does this mean is, this transmitted light that we have is what? Partially plane polarized. So if you pass this through number of parallel plates, then what will happen is this transmitted light, after passing again and again, it will become plane polarized, and this ray will be plane polarized either perpendicular to the boundary plane, or it will be either parallel to the plane of incidence. So these were two ways of getting plane polarized light. The third way of getting plane polarized light is by double refraction. If unpolarized light passes through a doubly refracting crystal, or you can say anisotropic crystal like quartz or calcite, then the incident wave will split into two waves. It passes like this, it will split into two waves. One wave will be called as the ordinary wave, called is O wave, and the other will be the extraordinary wave, called this E wave. The O wave will be plane polarized perpendicular to the optic axis, and this will be plane polarized parallel to the optic axis. What exactly is optic axis? Optic axis is that direction along which the two waves will travel with the same speed. So that direction we call it as the optic axis. So one of them will be polarized. The one which is polarized perpendicular to the optic axis will be the O wave, and the other which is polarized parallel to the optic axis will be the E wave. So this is just for understanding that this is also a way we can use to produce plane polarized light. The fourth method to get plane polarized light is known as the Malus law, or by using a polarizer. In this, if we take some unpolarized light and pass it through certain polarizer, then it will become plane polarized. Okay. But when this plane polarized light from the polarizer, let's say initially, when we pass some unpolarized light through a polarizer, we'll get the plane polarized light. Now when we pass this plane polarized light through some analyzer making certain angle with the then the intensity of polarized light transmitted through this analyzer, the intensity of the light which is coming here, that will vary. This intensity here will vary as cos squared theta. If this intensity is I naught, then this intensity here is I naught, so this will be equal to I naught cos squared theta. Theta is the angle between the axis of the polarizer and the axis of the analyzer. But one thing you have to remember is, whenever unpolarized light is incident on the polarizer, if this is with some intensity, let's say I dash, then the intensity here will be I dash by 2. For unpolarized light, the intensity after passing through the polarizer will become half of the intensity of the incident light. Then when this polarized light will pass through certain analyzer, then the intensity of light that we will get here will be equal to I dash by 2 cos squared theta. Theta is the angle between the axis of the polarizer and the analyzer. This law is known as the Malus law or law of Malus. Let's look at a problem and then hopefully you will understand it better. Consider three polarizers placed like this, P1, P2, P3, and there is unpolarized light of intensity I naught which is incident at P1. The axis of P1 and the axis of P3 are perpendicular to each other, while the pass axis of P2 makes an angle theta with P1. That is, this angle with P1 is some theta. Now a beam of unpolarized light of intensity I naught is incident on this P1. We have to find the intensity of light emerging from this. So if here the intensity is I naught, and we have seen when unpolarized light is incident on a polarizer, the intensity will become half of the initial intensity I naught by 2. Now here the intensity will be I naught by 2 cos squared theta. Theta is the angle between the polarizer P1 and P2, and it is already given that this angle itself is theta. That is, if this P1 is like this, P2 is like this, that is, this angle is some angle theta. Now when this intensity, light of this intensity or wave of this intensity falls on this polarizer, then the intensity will be I naught by 2 cos squared theta into some cos squared theta dash. Theta dash is the angle between this and this polarizer, right? What is that? So now here this was pass axis of P1, this is some pass axis of P2. That this angle between them is theta and this is our angle theta dash. Clear? This much is clear? And the angle between P1 and P3, this entire angle is what? 90 degrees. So what is theta dash? Theta dash is 90 minus theta. Is it or is it not? It is, right? So we have the intensity after passing through here, call this I3, the intensity here I3 will be equal to I naught by 2 cos squared theta into cos squared 90 minus theta. What is cos squared 90 minus theta? That is sin squared theta. I naught by 2 cos squared theta sin squared theta. Now multiply by 4 and divide by 4. We will have 4 cos squared theta sin squared theta will be sin 2 theta the whole square. So it will be I naught by 8 sin squared 2 theta. This will be the intensity of light which is emerging from P3. Now we have the fifth method is the production of circularly polarized or elliptically polarized light by using different types of plates. One is called as the Cotter wave plate. You can also call this lambda by 4 plate. what this is that it is made up of a double refracting crystal, and it is designed such a way that it will introduce a path difference of lambda by 4 between the E wave and the O wave. Okay, so if the path difference is lambda by 4, what will be the phase difference? Phase difference will be 2 pi by lambda into the path difference lambda by 4, that will be pi by 2. So it will give us a phase difference of either pi by 2 or a path difference of lambda by 4. So it is some material of thickness T, right? So it will be some material of thickness T which is made up of a double refracting crystal. So what should be the thickness of this material? Let's find that. Now if Ne is the refractive index of the E wave and No is the refractive index of the O wave, then NET, thickness T, will give us the optical path covered by the E ray, and NOT will give us the optical path which is covered by the O ray. And the path difference, optical path difference between the E ray and the O ray will be equal to what? Lambda by 4. That is what we are doing with this wave, right? We are creating a path difference of lambda by 4 between the E wave and the O wave. Take T out, and then we will have Ne minus No is equal to lambda by 4, and we'll have T equals to lambda by 4 into Ne minus No. This T is the thickness, so it has to be positive. So if Ne is greater than O, this is the formula, and if No is greater than Ne, then it will be No minus Ne. We have to get T that is positive. So now what happens is on this plate is that if you put an elliptically polarized light, if elliptically polarized light falls on this material, it will become plane polarized. Just remember this. If you put circularly polarized light on this material, then also it will become plane polarized. Now if you put unpolarized light on this material, it will remain unpolarized. But now if you put a plane polarized light on this material, then three things will happen. It can either remain as plane polarized, or it will become circularly polarized, or it will become elliptically polarized. It will remain as plane polarized if theta equals to 90, 180 and so on. Here if theta is equal to 0, 90, 180 and so on. It will become circularly polarized if theta is equal to 45 degrees or 135 degrees and so on, 270, 225, 325, like that, so on. And it will be elliptically polarized if that theta angle is some angle other than these two. So what exactly is theta here? Theta here is the angle that the plane of incidence makes with the optic axis. Based on that theta, the plane polarized wave will change either into elliptically polarized or circularly polarized or plane polarized or remain plane polarized. This is known as the quarter wave plate, lambda by 4 plate. There is another plate which is called as half wave plate. Sixth will be half wave plate, also called as lambda by 2 plate. What does this plate do? It is also made of some refracting crystal and so on, but it is designed to produce a path difference of lambda by 2 between the E wave and the O wave. So the phase difference between them will be delta phi will be 2 pi by lambda into lambda by 2, which will be pi. So a phase difference of pi or a path difference of lambda by 2. Then again the thickness, just like that, if you solve this also, you will get lambda upon 2 No minus Ne or Ne minus No, depending on which will give us a positive value. So now what happens when you have a lambda by 2 plate and you put different types of this is thickness T. So if you put a plane polarized light on this, it will come out as plane polarized. If you put right circularly polarized light on this, then it will come out left circularly polarized. And if you put left circularly polarized, then it will come out right circularly polarized. Similarly, if you give it a right elliptically polarized, then it will come out as left elliptically polarized. That means the handedness will change. And if you put left circularly polarized, it will come out as right circularly polarized. And if you give it some unpolarized light, then it will remain unpolarized. So here we are going to change the handedness in lambda by 2 plate. We have a question that we have a plane wave x hat plus I y hat e naught e raised to I kz minus omega t, and after passing through some optical element, it will emerge out at like this: x hat minus I y hat e naught e raised to I kz minus omega t, where this k and omega are the wave vector and the angular frequencies. We have to find what kind of optical element it passes through, whether it is a half wave plate or a quarter wave plate or a polarizer, what it is. So here you can see. So let's consider this: x hat plus I y hat e naught e raised to I kz minus omega t. First of all, we have to know what type of a wave it is, whether it is circularly polarized, elliptically polarized, plane wave, unpolarized, what it is. Let's solve this and get that. If I solve this, I'll get x hat e naught e raised to I kz minus omega t plus I'll get I y hat e naught e raised to I kz minus omega t. Again I'll open this, I'll get x hat e naught cos kz minus omega t plus I x hat e naught sin kz minus omega t plus I y hat e naught cos kz minus omega t minus I square will be minus 1, right? Y hat e naught sin kz minus omega t. Open this as cos plus I sin and cos plus I sin. We will take only the real parts and ignore the imaginary parts for now. So, we will have only x hat e naught cos kz minus omega t. We will have minus y hat e naught sin kz minus omega t. So now you can see we are having two components which are perpendicular to each other. One is the cos term, one is the sin term. The phase difference between them is pi by 2 and the amplitudes are same, so obviously this is a circularly polarized light. Similarly, if you solve this, you will get x hat e naught cos kz minus omega t plus this thing. Here also what type of wave it is? It is cos and sin, phase difference is pi by 2, amplitudes are same, perpendicular to each other. This is also circularly polarized. But here this is minus sign and this is plus sign. So we can say one of them is right circularly polarized, the other of them is left circularly polarized. So the answer to our question is, one, it is moving, the handedness is changing, right? If it is right, it is going to become left circularly polarized, and if it is left circularly polarized, it is going to become right circularly polarized. So our handedness is changing. So what kind of optical element this will be through which it is passing? This optical element has to be a lambda by 2 plate, right? That is half wave plate. So how do we check what type of handedness it is? For that, what I can do is just consider this. I'll explain you this one only. Let's plot. Let's take this as the x-axis. Let's take this as the y-axis. Okay. Initially, I am taking at z equals to 0. So, I'll take kz equals to 0 in both the equations. So, I'll have x hat, because I'm checking at what will happen at z equals to 0. Okay. Cos minus omega t minus y hat e naught sin minus omega t. So, this will become x hat e naught cos omega t, and minus will come out, it will become plus y hat e naught sin omega t. Okay. Now what do we do is, let's take first case is when omega t is equal to 0. When omega t is equal to 0, cos 0 will be, this will imply cos 0 will be 1, sin 0 will be 0. It will give us only x hat E naught, that is the first, the electric field is around this direction. This I can consider this as my first term. Okay. Second, when let's say omega t is equal to pi by 2, then what will happen? Cos pi by 2 is 0, sin pi by 2 is 1. So this term will be 0, we will have only y hat E naught. Positive y hat means this will be along this direction. Third case, we can take omega t is equal to pi. Then what will happen? Cos pi is minus 1, sin pi is 0, we will have minus x hat E naught. That is, this third case will be along minus x hat direction. So you can see it is rotating like this. Obviously it is circularly polarized, so the amplitudes will be like this, it will be a circle, but it is rotating like this. This is which direction? This is anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise means it is left circularly polarized. Similarly, you can check for this one, it will come out to be in clockwise direction, that is, it will be right circularly polarized. That's it. That was the number of, that was the different types of ways of producing different types of polarized light. Now we will look at method of detection of polarization. Okay. Let's say we have either some light, some wave, it could be plane polarized, it could be circularly polarized, or it could be elliptically polarized light which is incident on a polarizer, like for example a Nicol prism or something, a polarizer, and it is rotating like this. I can make it here. It is rotating. Now based on the light which is coming from here, we can determine whether it is plane polarized, circularly polarized, or elliptically polarized. If in the output, if there is variation in intensity with 0 minimum, then this light is plane polarized. And if there is variation in intensity with non-zero minimum, then this is elliptically polarized. And if there is no variation in intensity, then this is circularly polarized. Okay. Similarly, let's consider another case where we have either a circularly polarized or an unpolarized light. It is falling on a, let's say, lambda by 4 plate. Lambda by 4, okay. Then after that it is falling on some Nicol prism, which is again rotating with some angular frequency, or rotating Nicol prism. Then how do we find whether it is unpolarized or it is circularly polarized? Let's assume that our wave which is falling on this is circularly polarized. Okay. If it is circularly polarized and it falls on a lambda by 4 plate, then we know circularly polarized will become plane polarized. And we also know when plane polarized falls on this rotating Nicol prism, then it will have variation in intensity with 0 minimum. So after falling through this, if we have a variation in intensity with 0 minimum, then we can say that this ray which fell on, which was incident, will be circularly polarized. Otherwise, it will be unpolarized light which was incident on this plate. I hope that's clear. So we'll be stopping here. In the next part, we'll look at reflection and transmission at dielectric interface or conducting interface and things like that. Peace be upon you.